fractured America under martial law, retired Air Force veteran Cole Ramsey faces a storm of betrayal and chaos at Pete's Place, his family's rural stronghold. As President Pensiek's iron grip tightens and the corrupt Sheriff Dobbins aligns with the ruthless BAD crew, Cole, his wife Nora, along with their son Colby and his girlfriend Ava, and their allies Paul and Tom fortify their farm against an onslaught of violence. Haunted by loss and driven by loyalty, they stand defiant, their rifles ready as engines roar in the distance and treachery looms. With the creek running red and shadows closing in, the Hanging Creek Chronicles. Shadows of Martial Law is a gripping tale of resilience, sacrifice, and the unbreakable will to protect home in a world spiraling into darkness.
Bam! And there it is. We'll see how long before YouTube knocks me for that one, Mr. Russ.
I don't see how they could. That was pretty badass.
Oh man, look at all these people over here in the live. You know the routine, guys. Smash that like button. Give us some love, some hearts, some thumbs ups, all that kind of stuff. I see your eyeballs up there in the corner right there. Let's give us some love. Give us some love. If nothing else, just for Patrick, because man, what a beautiful, sexy guy. The guy, and look at the backdrop. We were just talking about his backdrop here. Amazing. Amazing. I bring these guests on. I guess guests are supposed to look way cooler than I, because I'm not the focal point on this show. It's the guest. And so welcome, Patrick Diedrich. Welcome to the live.
Thank you. I enjoy being here. And, I have never been a fan of the cliche, put your bookshelf behind you background. So I had to jazz it up a little bit.
I like it. Yes. Put your weaponry behind you. That's where it's at.
Definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely.
Within reach.
Some
Weaponry
cultural
within reach.
art of accoutrement. Yes.
I love it. Well, for everyone in the chat, let's see here. Thomas Bryce. Hey, Frank Gonzalez. What's going on? Mr. Knives by Hand. Survival Gear BSO. And he says that is one professional. What's going on, bro? I am, speaking of, there's one of our sponsors for Fallout is Brian Loftus, Survival Gear BSO, of course. And let's see, we got the Swordsman 007, Sandra Davis. We've just got all kinds of people. Remember, guys, if you have a question for Patrick, and you should, because he has many, many years of homesteading, survival, preparedness, all this kind of awesome stuff, military, tactical. Let's do hashtag off-grid in the comments if you have a question for Patrick, and we'll get you up there. So let's go through a couple things first. Remember, we have Mountain Readiness Fallout. We'll kick it up there on the kick. If you don't have your tickets yet, shame on you, because Patrick is going to be there. And we just discussed the other day, he is going to be teaching a class. We'll talk about that class later on today. It's going to be awesome.
Heck
amongst many other people that's going to be there who are of just as great a caliber as what Patrick is. So who else we have? My media assets. I should have Russ do this stuff to me, but I'm just kind of by the seat of my pants all the time. It's a live. People expect you to screw up on lives. That's how
part of the fun.
Yeah. I mean, What fun is it unless you do stupid stuff on your lives that you can never take back? So, and of course, our official sponsor, the presenting sponsor, Patrick knows this, another scout, Matt Everett, NC Scout, AKA the Brush Beater Store. If you want great night vision comms, this is the guy to check out. Brush Beater, it's capability, community, communications. He has a ton of classes as well, guys. They are all coming up. In fact, I will be joining Matt for, I think it's a recce course, or is it the scout course thereafter, the next following weekend. So we've got Mountain Readiness right there. He's got a class before, I believe, as well. Joe Dolio with Tactical Wisdom is going to be there through the week teaching classes at the Brush Beater compound. Man, get your training. If there's one thing I will say, guys, that I cannot stress enough, and I'm sure, Patrick, you can chime in on this, given the circumstances of the world, and we've seen some really messed up stuff here in the past week, training and preparedness to me is of the utmost importance. Would you agree, Patrick?
100%. Yes.
Like,
there's leveling up your skill set should be top priority.
Top priority while you can.
Yes.
Because there's going to come a point where that may not be, whether it be civil unrest, natural disaster. I mean, we saw Hurricane Helene, all the craziness out of that. Texas had all the floods that, all those, tons of people, lives were affected, lives taken. We just can never tell. I was talking about this on a podcast with lesser known operators, a good friend of mine, Nick, Green Beret guy. And we were talking about how fragile the United States is. That's a good start off to this whole thing is, how fragile this world is down to the power grids. Because, I was reading an article that they're the people that run the power grids, they're retiring. They've been there for years and years and years, and they just don't have the replacements to take over those seats. Have you heard anything about that, Patrick?
I actually am acquainted with someone who worked at it's one of the largest dams in the U.S. Actually, it's in Washington. It's called the Grand Coulee Dam, and it's interesting because we keep hearing about infrastructure needing a revamp, like our bridges and our roads and things like that. But these dams, these huge sources of power and things that keep the lights on, across huge swaths of the country, that's part of the infrastructure. And they also need a desperate refurbishing. So, fragility is kind of an understatement because there are a lot of cracks in that eggshell right now.
A ton. And not only just here on American soil, like that morning with Charlie Kirk. Of course, there's all kinds of craziness going on with that. What a horrible thing to happen, especially on television like that. And but I mean, that's why they do it. That's what you want when you're talking about terrorism, because that's what that was. But at the same time, man, there's tons of stuff going on. The whole conspiracy theories, I'm not going to go into it, but that morning we had, wasn't it the in Nepal? Wasn't that the same morning, the Nepalese, or was that earlier that week when they burned their parliament? Did you see that over in Nepal?
I didn't hear anything about Nepal. I've kind of been hearing what's going on in France. There's a lot of stuff going on in the UK. And tragically, the Charlie Kirk situation kind of washed out another terrible school shooting in Colorado that happened on the same
Colorado.
Day. So, I mean, man, it really feels like things are rising to a boil.
It's piled on top of piled on top of piled. I don't know. Hey, and there's another guy, another awesome book writer, Mr. Brian Duff from Mind for Survival, who will be joining us for Mountain Readiness. Appreciate you joining us, Brian. Look forward to catching up with you here in just a month. This year has flown by.
Too fast.
Where did it go? It's insane how fast this went down. And Patrick 7, what's going on, brother? This gentleman here, we will be meeting for the first time. Patrick is actually coming down from the communist state of Michigan to join us this October. And he is on every single live across the board, Angery American, the Eden Army, all over the place. Patrick is an awesome guy. Can't wait to meet you in person, brother. And yeah, he was saying it was earlier in the week. Overthrew the government and burned the parliament. And it was over social media too. They were trying to shut down all social media. And they was like, you ain't touching our Facebook, buddy. So that's how that went down.
Dang. Wow. Okay.
Crazy world. Yeah. Yeah. It was, well, you know, China, you know, the way they do things too, you know, they keep social media on the lid on it. So people can't really talk about what's going on over there.
I live in the People's Republic of California, so I know how suppressing your voice goes.
Right. No, that's it, surprisingly enough, though, is out there. Like we've had a conversation before that, you know, how many just the opposite conservative individuals still are in California.
Man, a huge amount. Most, I would say most of the state is red counties. You know, it's the dense urban centers, you know, the LA and the San Franciscos that kind of give the whole state a bad rap.
Man. And that's a shame too, because California is gorgeous. Why is it that all these gorgeous areas are sucked up by not so gorgeous people?
They attract all kinds. And, you know, if you were mentally ill or addicted to drugs and you just needed a place, like a very comfortable place to live on the side of the road or under a bridge, California's got like the perfect weather. So, I mean, it's like 70 all the time. You don't got to worry about thermal regulation. You just, you throw up your tent behind the Lowe's and, you know, the state will take care of you.
There was a few times that, living right in Fort Wayne, Indiana, next to the Michigan line, that I was like, man, Skid Row wouldn't really be that bad.
I don't know if I go that far.
Yeah, that was just a little bit. That was a little bit over the edge. But hey, let's get into what you've got going on with your past. And so, you know, I have to write this down because, man, everybody I get on here just has these awesome things that they've done. You've got everything from Boy Scouts, U.S. Army Cavalry Scout, deployed Middle East, instructor for lost persons. Like, give us your background of how you ended up, your journey, how you ended up right here, right now.
Man, that is a loaded question because, yeah, I went to college right out of high school, and not because I knew what I was going to do. You know, like that was just like the cool thing to do at the time, you know, like everybody was going to college. And it was almost like peer pressure to go, right? But fortunately, something interesting came out of that. I ended up getting a job as a homeless shelter supervisor. And this was up in Moorhead, Minnesota, right next to Fargo. They're like cities right next to each other. Very cold in the winter, right? And, you know, this place had maybe 40, 50 adults, a handful of families. And yeah, I mean, it was very eye-opening to see these people on this journey through their lives, right? Like, you know, some people were there because of chemical dependency. Some people were there because they were down out of their luck. Some people were coming from halfway houses, you know, like it was this huge mix of people. And it really, you know, opened my eyes to reality a little bit. You know, when you grow up kind of, I don't know, insulated from things like that, you know, you don't really have much of a perspective or you know, a way to view the world, I think, appropriately. And I think this really helped. I don't know if I knew it at the time, but like that sense of self-reliance and needing to, you know, like we were talking about leveling up and, you know, building your skill sets and just being prepared and things like that. I really think that was like the true genesis of where that came from within me.
So did you, I mean, so for lack of a better term, did you have kind of a normal childhood and then working there, that just kind of threw you into like a real world smack? I mean, is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the sticks in Wisconsin. You know, it was you know, I grew up tromping around in the woods, and you know, didn't didn't get a taste of, like, you know, city life, or you know the things that can come out of that. You know, I was kind of insulated. So that really helped, you know, broaden my perspective on the world, the people in it, you know, and just the things that can happen along the way.
And how much you wanted to not live in big cities at that point.
I still don't want to live in big cities. I've recently, well, before I get into that. So, okay. Continuing the journey, college is expensive as hell, right?
Yes.
But fortunately, you know, Uncle Sam, he's going to hook you up with a college education. You just gotta, you know, sign away a couple years of your life, and you know, go do what he wants to do. So I didn't want a desk job. I wanted to have some fun, and you know, do some cool guy stuff. So I ended up joining the Cav as a 19 Delta Cav Scout. Got assigned to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and lived there. That was my first duty station. Believe it or not, there's a 10th Mountain Division there, so I was assigned to them. It was an experimental. They call it a RISTA squadron, reconnaissance, surveillance, and target acquisition. And so it was, instead of being like armored cav or anything like that, it was really light, mobile, something that would support infantry units.
Gotcha.
So, and while I was there, Hurricane Katrina came along. Probably like within the first couple months I was stationed down there. You know, and there I was. They issued us all steel chainsaws. We were, you know, cutting people out of their houses, out of their garages, clearing roads and stuff like that. I mean, that storm, if you weren't in that region, just to like give you a sense, I mean, it displaced like 1.5 plus million people. I mean, there wasn't an empty hotel for years after that, because they were trying to house all these people who got washed out of New Orleans. So like things like that, you know, like the homeless shelter, Hurricane Katrina, deploying to the Middle East, like seeing all these things, it really just started to build this this need, not only to I don't know, build on my skill sets, but eventually it came to start sharing it with others. I was medically retired from the military, and when I got out, you know, I was in Upper Michigan at the time, and I decided to start my own consulting forestry business while I was up there, you know, making some money, walking in the woods. Sounded kind of cool. And I was out there and driving to and from work. I'd turn on the radio, and I started hearing this news report about a missing person. It was a 15-year-old male with autism, and it was early spring, and he disappeared. He like walked out of his house, and nobody could find him. And this search went on. I mean, there was probably 1,000 volunteers, Coast Guard, helicopters, like you name it, K9, everybody. They were out there. And as the week kind of progressed, as this was happening, you know, I was thinking to myself, you know, here I am, very comfortable being in the woods with a combat reconnaissance background, right? Like I could help with this, right? I could be an asset on the ground. It wasn't long after I started thinking about that they found him deceased, right? And that was he wasn't more than a couple hundred meters from his house, right? But you know, one of the things that some people with like a high level of autism is like they're loud noises, bright lights are frightening and they hide from them. So, you know, if there were emergency vehicles out there with the lights going, or like people shouting and using whistles and stuff like that, probably freaked him out more. And he just, you know, dug in further, and they didn't find him. But I mean, that right there was kind of like my next call to action. I got involved with our regional search and rescue. I ended up becoming their training officer, right? And that was the catalyst that got me connected with Dr. Bob Koster, who teaches lost person behavior. I became one of his trainers on that methodology. It's something I'll be going over, like a brief kind of teaser lecture at Mountain Readiness about lost person behavior, their strategies, myths and legends, and things like that. But yeah, during the same time frame is when somebody I had deployed with, and one of my stints overseas, he was the senior editor for Recoil Offgrid, and he's like, "Hey, now that you're out and you're doing your thing, do you want to write for us?" Right? And I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." And things just kind of snowballed from there. I was freelancing with them for a while. I took over the gear column for a little bit. I became their web editor for a few years. And then when the previous senior editor moved on to bigger, better things, I threw my hat in the ring, and I was the chosen one, and ended up taking over Recoil Offgrid, which is what I'm doing now. So I don't know. As far as background goes, that's kind of like the
condensed,
the trailer. Yeah.
No, I mean, and how long have you been at Recoil?
A little over 5 years now.
Awesome.
Yep.
You guys do some great work. Of course, haven't met you in person. We've spoke quite a few times, but of course, Nick Italiano, your assistant chief editor there, awesome dude, and really enjoyed hanging out with Nick and his wife there last May.
Heck yeah.
So it'd be, great guy. You guys run a tight ship for sure. Let's flip back to Katrina. I lived in Louisiana during Hurricane Andrew. That was an entertaining hurricane as well. I've got a bunch of family down in Louisiana, Alexandria, Tioga. I went to a hurricane party during Hurricane Andrew and decided to come back inland because that was a really bad idea. I'm glad I turned around and left. You know, the signs started floating across the road, and I was like, nope, this is a bad place to be. Time to go back inland a little bit more. Which I think, yeah.
No, Katrina is the one with the most notoriety, I think. But man, Louisiana gets hit all the time with hurricanes. I was there. It was like Rita, Ivan 1, 2, and 3. Like Ivan kept circling around and coming back in. Like they get hit with storms so much. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and then the heat. My wife Amber just popped up and she said the armpit of the Army, which she was referring to Fort Polk, I believe, there in Louisiana.
She's not wrong.
That checks out. I hear that. And there's our medical guy, Chuck, over at Homestead Medical, will be joining us this October 17th through the 19th as well. Chuck does an amazing job on the med classes. Have you ever heard of Homestead Medical?
I have not.
Patrick?
No.
Man, check them out. Which you guys are going to meet anyway. You guys will meet each other. Great guy, as a contractor overseas, doing the medical thing, did a lot of stuff. There's Homestead Medical, if y'all want to scan that. But Chuck is an awesome dude. Really enjoy his classes. You guys will get along great. And we've got a ton of people to introduce.
I've got a lot of elbow bumping to do, for sure.
Yes. Ton. You're gonna your elbow is gonna be rubbed raw by the end of the end of that weekend. It's gonna be great. But in Katrina, what did you see out of the general population? And I mean, you were out there, boots on the ground. There's a lot of stuff that went on there that was, some people say not so good. I know a lot of people got kind of herded into the dome there. And I mean, what did you see out of people just in general of that Katrina?
I mean, I think because of how connected we are and everybody has a sensing device in their hand now, we're becoming more aware of how these types of events are taken advantage of by people. Like these types of things always bring out the best of people. They always bring out the worst of people. And now I think it's so shocking for us recently, because it's everybody can pull out their phone and post it to the gram, and now you're like seeing things like where before you kind of had to hear things word of mouth, or if like a major publication did a story on it, you might hear about it. But now, I mean, you can see it in real time, and it seems shocking, but this is how things have always been when it comes to these sorts of events. Katrina was no different. You know, there was looting and robberies and B&Es and, you know, the whole nine. You know, and at the same time, like a lot of the people who were displaced and couldn't help themselves, like I had soldiers in my unit, and I was one of them who went to help. You know, there were shelters for years after this, housing people trying to get back on their feet, and some of us would go and volunteer at those places, you know, and try to help those people out. So it was crazy. Like even on the installation, I don't think we had power for 2 weeks. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, huge parties, like food, like get rid of all my food in the freezer before it goes bad type of parties, right? Like everybody would be coming over, eating, right?
Eat everything.
You know, but after like that first, you know, 5 days to a week, and all your refrigerated goods were gone, you know, if we hadn't been on the base with an ample supply of MREs, it would have sucked. I mean, you'd have to
Right.
find dry food. You couldn't use, you know, credit card or debit card or anything at the store, right? It all had to be cash. You know, gas stations couldn't pump. And like I said, that was like a 2-week thing, at least. I still remember the night that the power came back on. Like the whole barracks erupted in cheers. You know, like it was glorious. You know, air conditioning again, and you know all this other stuff. But
well, in Louisiana without air conditioning, that's
man,
brutal.
it is brutal.
Holy cow, that
Yep.
place. I actually lived in Louisiana there for about a year. Alexandria, my mother was born in Pineville, Louisiana.
Pineville sounds so familiar.
Lake Charles, Pineville, Alexandria, Tioga, all about a little over an hour inland from New Orleans.
Used to fly in and out of Alex. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that whole area.
Yeah, ridiculous. That's one of the only places, that in South Georgia. You walk outside at 7:30 a.m. and then in 30 minutes you're completely drenched just from walking.
It's like you dived into the pool. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, if I remember correctly too, with Katrina, wasn't there the gangs had tried to take over the city? It's underwater. Wasn't that part of that at that time?
There was so much kind of like I don't know what to call it other than chaos. You know, these people, like chaos opportunists. You know, I remember seeing people like that was the first time I think I saw on TV like people just walking out of stores with TVs and, you know, things like that.
Right.
But then you know, there was also stories of people, you know, looting corpses and stuff that were, you know, floating around. You know, at the same time, it was the birth of the Cajun Navy, right? We're just normal everyday citizens with John boats or whatever, you know, went out and, you know, tried to help as much as they could. So yeah,
You're right.
There's always, like I said, the best
something
and the
good
worst
coming from it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
No, I agree. Yeah, I remember the Katrina. I remember Hurricane Andrew, and it still blows my mind that there's so many people who forget these major catastrophic events, even ones that were in it. You know, even ones that were in it, still just don't. They're like, you know, I'll get to it one of these days. I'll put some food back. To me, it's a no-brainer, right? It makes sense.
It's an unfortunate part of the human condition that we forget easily. I don't know. Maybe it's fortunate because like if something really bad happens, maybe you don't want to remember it forever. So maybe forgetfulness is good. But at the same time, if you don't take to heart some key lessons out of those unfortunate times, then you're doomed to keep experiencing those hard times until you get the lesson, you know?
Don't be scared, be prepared. That's
exactly.
It. You know, it's I don't know. Let's find, I seen we had a couple questions up here. Let's pop these up here. So let's see. Deanna, she was saying off grid. Sorry, I escaped a couple years ago. Don't miss my bar in Cali Mountains. So yeah, Deanna, I forgot Deanna was a Cali girl at one time.
It's a beautiful state. The government is just insane, right? Completely insane.
It's a shame. I just
it
hate
is a
to
shame.
see it.
It is a
shame.
I
hate to see that there. So and then the lovely Christy, part of the Eden Army, she said, off grid, if you miss home, read Birchwood Burning by Pete Robertucci, which is Pete will be there at Mountain Readiness as well. You'll meet Pete, and he originally did the East of Eden series, and now it is the Birchwood Burning, based in Wisconsin, your homeland.
The land of Diedrich.
A shameless plug there. I'll accept that because Pete is part of the group here. Here is my son-in-law, off grid. What are your biggest fears, worries about living out there? Seems you always have craziness going on. So he's talking about California. I mean, do you have any reserves of where you live, or are you just completely buried in the middle of nowhere?
No, I used to. So we moved out to San Jose a couple years ago, and we were living in an apartment kind of close to downtown. And I, besides living on military installations, I've always lived pretty rurally, right? So this was really my first time living in such a densely populated area. I mean, the whole Bay Area is like 6 million people, right? It's crazy. And it was pretty wild. I mean, fentanyl's a big deal out here. That's where I was like, why are those people just, bent in half in the middle of the street? Like, oh, that's the fentanyl fold and they can't hold themselves up anymore. Just learning about all that sort of stuff. I'm kind of comfortable with it because of, my experience in the homeless shelter. But that being said, I have never been made to feel more uncomfortable with homeless people except for when I went to San Diego. I don't know if it's the the heat that gets them all like fired up and spicy, but man, like they were aggressive, like just coming at you with their craziness. Did not like it at all. So I guess like biggest fear is I say all that to say like the people here are actually really cool. There's like a huge like Latino influence, right? Very salt of the earth, traditional way of life. Like people are just, exceedingly friendly. Very 2A friendly, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people are, like I went to a long range marksmanship course, and it was like the range that we went on. This guy, he owned a winery, right? It was his winery. So there's like vineyards on the hills, and then you sneak over the backside with all your guns and bags and stuff while people are having like, wedding showers over here by the winery. And you go back there and like everybody was pulling out, their long range setup. I mean, like expensive setups, right? Like these people really enjoyed what they were doing. And there's like a huge network of firearm enthusiasts out here. So it's a beautiful place, great people. The politics, it's the same thing. Like you're going to have a lesson in pain until you elect someone who doesn't suck, right? Like that's That's what it's going to have to take out here. You know, and that ties into the homeless thing, right? Like if the government did a better job with that, it wouldn't be something we have to worry about. The one thing that kind of like gives me a little bit of a pucker factor out here in California is earthquakes.
Oh yeah. How much do you feel of that? I mean, is it kind of a normal thing, always a little tremor? Or?
I haven't felt it. No, it's happened in our areas. It hasn't been big enough for me to notice. You know, I guess if you're closer to the shores, you might be affected more by, you know, how it influences the tides and waves and things like that with, you know, like the tsunami influence. But I haven't felt like a really big one on land. And I don't know if I've just watched too much Discovery Channel or too much History Channel, you know, where they're like, the big one's coming. Right. I'm like, okay, when's it coming? You know, do I got to anchor my stuff to the walls better? Like what's happening?
That's like a whole nother world of preparedness right there. Cause you can never be prepared for everything. But I remember, LA with the, San Andreas, when that one went off. I was a kid. I can't even remember how old I was, but I remember seeing, you know, the after effects that were on the news.
Yeah.
And, you know, the double, you know, triple stacked highways just collapsed down like sandwiches, you know, and people in between them and stuff. And like, that's one of those things, you know, how do you even prepare for something like that? So I feel you on that. Like what do you do? Like build a spring loaded house? You know, I know a lot of the big skyscrapers they're actually spring loaded, underneath to absorb that shock, but that's not the everyday guy's house. So, I mean, have you taken steps and measures? Or are you like, okay, maybe I should do this and this? I mean,
so like they actually have an earthquake preparedness week out here where everybody's supposed to, you know, make sure that you've got some water, you got some food, right? If you're in an apartment, do you have like an escape ladder? Do you know where the gas and water shutoffs are? Like go and you know, just get reacquainted with them, you know, things like that. So if something does happen, you can go and, you know, prevent your house from blowing up or leaking all over the place or whatever. But other than that, I mean, most of the buildings around here, like if they were built after, I don't know, like 1990 or something like that, they're pretty earthquake resistant.
Gotcha.
I think if you were maybe like in an older place, an older house, then you might have to worry. But even apartment buildings, like if they're older, they've been refurbished, like they had to have been, you know. So
okay,
yeah. So they're definitely taking steps to do it. The getting pancaked on the highway, man, that's just like you're just,
you know, that would be me. That would be my luck. Like, you know, I have all this, you know, bug out bags, get home bags, all this stuff, you know, and you're just cruising along and then that's it.
That's it.
You know, how do you know, all my stuff didn't mean nothing.
It's like it's the equivalent of, you know, getting hit by a meteorite, you know, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It was your time.
Yeah. And especially when you watch movies like that one, San Andreas, where like, you know, or the, you know, the Earth's opening up and just swallowing half the United States and stuff. It's insane. But I always, that would be bad. I always worried about being traveling, being multi-floors up, you know, worried about like an earthquake or something like that. I always wanted to get me like a little parachute, you know, have a parachute with me all the time.
Just like a base jumping thing. You just
the
break through the window and let it rip.
Throw it through the window and jump, you know, I mean, because what else are you going to do if you're all the way up, you know, earthquake, something like that. I don't know. I could just be paranoid though. That's probably what it is. I'm pretty paranoid when it comes to
that's all right. You can be a little paranoid. Gets you thinking about the possibilities.
A little paranoid about things, but what else did we have here? I know there's one more. So we got Knives by Hand up here. And have you heard of Knives by Hand, Patrick?
Knives by Hand? No.
So Frank runs Knives by Hand. I shared some videos around. I know that we're super busy, but and we don't even get to look at each other's content because we're too busy trying to even just keep up with our own. But Alan Kay, you know, the winner of season 1 of Alone, will be at Mountain Readiness this October. You'll get to meet Alan Kay
Nice.
And of course he'll be rolling down for CanCon as well. But he went over to Nepal on behalf of Frank here with Knives by Hand. They had the floods and everything over there last year that took out all kinds of people's homes and businesses, lives lost. But Alan went over there doing some blade design with the Nepalese there in Nepal, and of course, the home of the kukri, and that was where he did the expedition, which is Alan Kay's take on what the perfect kukri would look like. Great blade. I've got one, and of course, Knives by Hand. He's a big part of that. Frank won't be there, but Alan will. You've got to check out some of those blades. You will love
definitely,
them.
definitely,
for sure. But thanks. So actually, and I didn't even read his comment. Can you throw that back up? It just disappeared, Russ, because he actually asked a question, and I was just running my mouth about who he was. I believe he said what survival tools, let me see here. Where'd it go? Because it's live. I don't know what, I'm not sure what,
here we go.
The Russ.
What are the top survival tools to have?
There you go. You're a gear guy.
Yeah.
So is this in general, Frank? Like, are we trying to get home? Are we trying to get to our bug out location? Give us a little bit more depth. I'm gonna let you answer that, so we can talk appropriately. What's your EDC though? You've got to have one, especially living in California.
All right. So okay, which question should I answer first? My EDC or the top survival tools? Because I have the top survival tool.
You have the top survival tool.
It's right in here.
Look at that.
It's right in here.
From the shoulders up.
You can improvise a tool, like you can improvise a cutting edge, you can improvise cordage, you can improvise, all the C's that you want, right? That being said, having, it doesn't even have to be like a giant kukri. Just having even like a 3-inch paring knife, right? A good blade, or a blade that holds up a little bit, is like an immensely useful tool. It's just, you can make other tools with it. You can defend yourself with it. You can provide sustenance with it. I think a blade is definitely one of the top tools to have. And something to hold water.
And spoken like a true survival scholar, because I was talking with Chris Weatherman, Angery American, and he said, like, of course, a blade. I'm right there with you. I'm a tomahawk guy, but it is a little bit bigger.
I mean, that's a blade. Yeah.
It is a blade. It's, I like the being able to chop stuff, but you're adding weight. Just depends on what you're trying to do. You're trying to move quick, or does it really matter?
See, but you're coming from like that Appalachian mountain man. I need my tomahawk, right?
Yeah,
so you can
fight Sasquatch,
hang it right next to your chain of scalps and everything, right? But I mean,
exactly.
Even in from like an urban perspective, or maybe even a non-permissive perspective, if you're traveling, right, you can't travel with knives, you can't carry them with you or anything like that. But when you get to your destination, you're probably going to find a drugstore, a corner store, a bodega or something, right? And you can pick up a paring knife, right? And it's small enough, you can improvise a sheath, keep it in your pocket, keep it in your belt, whatever. It's just a handy thing to have for just a multitude of reasons.
I agree. Yes, that is. But I think what we were saying was the one thing in the wild that is hard to reproduce is a vessel for purifying water.
Oh man,
and
yeah.
So And Chris was the one that brought that up, and you did the same thing. So good on you for that, because it is. We actually, with a friend, a mutual friend, Jax Janega from Wild Card Wilderness.
Very
Awesome
good people.
Jax. Super good people. We did burn bowls at one of her, it was a tree medicine, like a tree medicine and a weekend. And I thought burn bowls would be way easier. They are not. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I was like, this is not for me. And blowing through the piece of straw, to get it to burn where you wanted it to. I mean, it was hours, and cleaning it up, and then it still leaked because it cracked. And I was like, well, so much for that. So yeah, a vessel to hold water for sure. So knife, vessel for water. I think you nailed it 100%. So what is your EDC though? Because you travel quite a bit. Amazon for one place, of course.
Yeah.
All over the United States.
I think like my ultimate EDC is the Wazoo cache belt with the Wazoo adventure kit loaded out in it. It covers every single base. Fire, water, cordage. There's even like it looks like Gorilla Tape, right? For whatever repairs, wound treatment. There's even like a little tiny fishing kit in there. There's a
this is all in your belt?
Braided saw, yeah. And there's a button compass, there's a button light. I even I'll put like a couple hundreds into like a small baggie and put it in there in case you gotta, pay your way back, or like pay off some dirty Vietnamese cops or something, like having some cash right there. What if you got robbed? They held you at gunpoint, took your wallet and shit, right? And I'm like, now how do you get back? How do you do that, right? You got something on there that at least they're probably not gonna, what kind of belt you got there, and like take a peek. Yeah. They're probably not gonna do that. I might throw a handcuff key or something in there, but man, it has everything. And in the buckle, it's a bottle opener. It has a signal mirror in there, dude. Like it's like the ultimate thing. And once you got it all loaded out like that, if you do appendix carry outside the waistband, it's thick enough to hold it. It's like a sturdy range belt almost when it's completely loaded up. So
and I've seen them, but I have not seen them. I've seen them advertised. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You're the first person to actually talk about it per se. But Patrick Diedrich says, what is the Wazoo cache belt? Where can I get one? And I'm gonna go with this for a plug too, because it sounds like I need to check this out myself.
Yeah, you definitely need to check it out. I think it's let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it's Wazoo. Is it Wazoo Gear Co?
That sounds right.
If you know what, wazoogear.com.
There you go.
You go there. They've got like cache beanies, cache caps. They actually Wazoo actually hooked up my search and rescue unit in Upper Michigan with a bunch of their tan cache caps, because if you open up the top, there's like a signal panel in there. There's a place for you can get like a Velcro, if you want to put like your unit identifier or something on there. Like they make really good stuff.
Man, I've got to check it out. And then the Russ of Oz back there threw that up for us. There you go. wazoogear.com, y'all.
Yep.
Check that out. And it sounds like I need to check it out as well. So love it.
Yep.
What is, we had one other, let me see here. We had some other starred ones up here. Let's see here. Diana. Oh yeah. Diana bought one of my tomahawks. Love my tomahawk from T. Thank you for your purchase, Diana, because that is greatly appreciated. And that bought chick feed. That's what that bought. Nice. So yeah.
Are you going to be selling those at Mountain Readiness?
I have two. I have two that I need to finish, and they're still sitting there at the forge. And I'm going to try. I will say I'm going to try to have a couple. Probably not, but I'm going to try.
All right.
We shall see. I really want to. I have a ton of blades that are on the schedule to be made, but it's like I went and decided to do more Mountain Readiness events. And then
that cuts into your blacksmithing time, doesn't it?
Yeah, then there's no time. So what is oh yeah, Patrick. See, Father Abraham sells Sharpies that have carbon fiber tips that work great for poking stuff. If you want one that is even better and is better price, check out BA Kydex, because America. BA Kydex, my buddy Corey. And I am plugging him. I don't have anything for him, but he does some of the best holsters, Kydex work. In fact, if you look through Mountain Readiness and you see the kukri that Alan K designed, that sheath, that the Kydex sheath is the one that him and I designed. And it is hard to find a Kydex person that's really good. There's a lot of Kydex people, but there is a very few amount of very good Kydex people. And Corey is top notch. And nope, I don't get any kickbacks, but BA Kydex, because America. Check them out on Facebook. We follow them. Jump over there and take a look. You will love his stuff. Mountain Readiness, I would love to pick up one of your pieces someday. In 3 years, I will get one made for you, Patrick. I promise. I promise that's going to happen. So what else did we have? Can we throw up Patrick's for Recoil so people can scan that? If you are not following Recoil Offgrid on all the social media,
what's your problem? Scan it.
Where y'all been at? Come on.
What are you waiting for?
Come on. What's the holdup here? Scan that. They got all kinds of awesome stuff. And we're getting close to up on the hour. We've talked all this time, man. It just flew by.
Yeah, it did.
Like, it is insane. But this right after, so we got Mountain Readiness 17th, 18th, and 19th. Patrick's going to be there along with a ton of other awesome people doing great classes. And then November the 7th and 8th, we've got CanCon Carolinas at the Clinton House. Tell everybody what this is going to be about, because I'm super stoked about this event right here.
CanCon is the world's largest suppressed range day. So what you do is you get a $50 ticket, gets you in the gate. You don't need to bring a firearm. You don't need to bring ammunition. There's going to be just dozens and dozens of firearm manufacturers and suppressor manufacturers. And you go walk up to the one that you like and take it for a test drive. Everything is suppressed. Everything. Handguns, rifles. We've got a belt-fed alley. If you've never shot a belt-fed machine gun again. In Arizona, we had a minigun. I don't know if we're going to have that at the Clinton House. I think we might. I also think we all now this is between you and me here. I think we might have a helicopter flying around. We might have a little bird. And at the same time, we're going to have some awesome instructors there. I put together Off-Grid Base Camp. It's nested within CanCon. We're going to be doing some like self-reliance stuff there. We're also going to have Blade Tactical there on the 7th. So everybody who makes blade, like tactical style blades, they get like a special invite from the Blade Show folks, and they're going to be there as well. So it is going to be a super cool event. Vendors, food, firearms. I mean, it's going to be a good day. Good couple of days.
Yeah, and it's basically like a mini Blade Show that's going on during this as well, right?
Yeah, BTAC, we call it, Blade Tactical. Only happens in CanCon, South Carolina. Yep. And last year we had people at the gate camping at midnight the day before just to get in. So It's gonna be pretty cool.
Sweet. Well, y'all scan that if you haven't already, because it's going to be off the hook. And did you hear him right? He said, "Don't worry about bringing ammo." Like how can you even go wrong?
Just
like,
show up.
I lose $50 worth of ammo.
Just show up and shoot. So somebody was asking, tickets at the door, or can you buy them prior? You can get them online, or you can just show up at the door and buy them at the gate. So
there you go.
Two different ways to do it.
Oh, by the way, there
the helicopter is suppressed. Yes,
the helicopter is suppressed.
Everything is suppressed.
I was going to pop that one. Everything is suppressed, including the helicopter. Everything is suppressed except for your freedoms.
Damn right.
Amen. Hallelujah. Brian, they still have spots for vendors, right? You still have vendor spots going on there for CanCon?
Absolutely. Yep.
I'll talk to you about that, Brian. I need to catch up with you. I've been out all day fighting goats. I barely got on here in time. I stepped on a nail because you're not supposed to wear hey dudes with no socks on when you're crawling around through a bunch of crap on the homestead. Whoops. Just like that. That's how preparedness goes to shit right there.
That's how you learn those valuable lessons.
That's right. Hey dudes going up through the woods of Appalachia. Not really survival type of attire. So, but yeah, we'll, that's going to be awesome though. We already have camping spots, and I have an email that I have not pressed send on. It will be sent tonight. I have to add one thing that I forgot. It is sitting in my inbox ready to ship your way too, about all that stuff for the VIP days.
Right on.
So, man, tell everyone where they can find you and all your platforms. We had the thing to scan, but you're on, let's see, Recoil is on Instagram. Where all are you? What's all your platforms?
If you search at Recoil Offgrid on any platform, you're going to find us, but we're most active on Instagram, Facebook, and our TikTok is doing pretty good too. Offgridweb.com. It's our content repository. We've got 2,500 plus articles about survival, self-reliance, emergency preparedness, gear, overlanding, tactical firearms, like everything you could possibly want is on that website for sure.
Yes. And then, John, y'all need to make it down to this. We've got camping. We already locked down 4 or 5 RV spots right there so we're going to be partying down right there on site. Ain't even going to leave. And you guys are staying over in the little place on site too.
Yep. So we'll be on site.
We can all share a campfire.
We'll join forces.
Hang out afterwards. This is going to be great.
Be
great. Look here, y'all. It's a big old hangout. Like, come to Mountain Readiness. You get to hang out. All of us hang out together. I know my buddy Nick with Lesser Known Operators is planning on being there. Joe Dolio, Tactical Wisdom, is bringing his guy. They're going to be doing some future conflict live streaming there. So we're going to be going live on site. We have right next door in the same place, because they accidentally double booked the venue, which is okay because it's a Renaissance festival. So we have a Renaissance festival going on at the same time as Fallout. So we've split it in 2. So you can hang out all day taking classes. Then we can drink a gallon of mead, go get in a sword fight after hours. It's going to be insane.
Man, you got to sneak some of those people over. Like, how do we survive, the Black Death,
bubonic plague.
like how do you survive a sword wound? We could make this work. We could synergize.
That's what I said. It's never happened before. And then, a couple months ago, I'm talking with the campground owner, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I literally I'll cancel them." I was like, "Wait, nah, don't even worry about canceling them." I said, like, that was the ultimate survival right there. 500 years ago, living during that time, that was ultimate survival. I think this is a great idea. We're going to line all the vendors up, bordering where their gate starts, and let all the vendors, people shop them for free And who knows what Alan K and I could end up, Patrick, depending on how many brewskis we have, we could end up just having a good old time on the jousting. I'll find a horse somewhere. I'll find a horse. We're good.
Who said we need to bring more gauze? Yep, that's the truth. We're going to have to do that.
Yeah, tourniquets, gauze. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of stuff. Well, leave us with something. What would you like to leave the audience out here? This audience has been awesome. And to say the least, thank you guys for joining us tonight. As always, I appreciate you. Without you, there would be no us. And Scouts Out, Recon, Savers Ranch, thanks for joining us. But what would you like to leave us with, Patrick? Deep thoughts with Patrick.
Yeah, I guess put me on the spot. So I guess I'll leave you with something I kind of had a chance to reflect on while I was in the Amazon. We didn't get to talk too much about it, but I got to spend a few weeks down there living with numerous indigenous people and like learning their way of life in the jungle. And something that really stuck out to me, when we look at preparedness, it's always about like, what do we have to do next? Like we've got to make the fire. We've got to get the water. We got to do the, like, there's always like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? In the jungle, it was different. Like it forces you to slow down and think carefully, because every plant is an ecosystem. Everything kind of has like a potential to cause harm, right? If you're not careful, there's creatures everywhere. And if you don't slow down and think about what you're doing or what your next action is, you're going to learn really quick that you are moving too fast. Right. I would leave that with everyone is, slow down, consider your next step, and think about what that next step is going to bring you. And you can apply that mental framework to any aspect of your life: survival, taking care of your house, taking care of your kids, your family, your relationships, your occupation, right? Just slow down before you take that next step and think about what the ramifications of it are going to be. That's my golden nugget of wisdom for the day.
Boom. I mean, that's beautiful. For being put on the spot, you did one hell of a job, Patrick. And yeah, slow down, pace yourself, and open those eyes. Think about what you're doing next. That's great. I love it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being on here, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. We'll do it next time around a campfire in 1 month.
Heck yeah.
So y'all know the drill. Stay safe and stay ready. We'll see you next Monday. Peace out.